We're back in the Not Just Vintage shop with Ruth Miller, and today's episode is called Show Us Your Buttons.
Show us your buttons.
Now, Ruth has got a really good collection of vintage buttons, and she's going to explain some of them to you so you can see the type of button that is quite rare. And here we have one I made earlier. Are the vintage buttons. So would you like to explain, Ruth?
Well, there's a variety of buttons on this board. We've got ones which are on the original cards. Some people like collecting the ones on original cards. We've got Czechoslovakian. Czechoslovakia, I can say that. Czechoslovakia was well known for glass hand-pressed buttons. So these three here at the bottom are Czechoslovakian glass buttons. This was back in the day when people would take their buttons off the clothing to wash the items. Then the buttons were sewn back on the clothing.
When they washed?
Yes, if you've got expensive clothes,
yeah. I
know a lady who buys Chanel clothes and expensive clothes, and she will physically she has a maid, or she has a person who takes off the buttons. It'll then be dry cleaned, then the buttons get sewn on. Mm-hmm. Because if you put glass buttons in the washing machine, they'll just disintegrate. So that's why you need to be careful. They don't tend to be used as on garments.
I must tell my maid that.
Tell your maid to take your buttons off. Yes.
She'd be made up.
Then we've got arted buttons. These red ones, the large blue one, and this set. They were made in 1945 by a company in London who only made them for 1 year only. They made plastic components for warplanes, and somebody decided to use up the plastic and make buttons. But unfortunately, they didn't sell because the war was on, so there was rationing, so people didn't buy buttons. So they just got left on one side. Mm-hmm. And years later now, they've come back into the public domain and have become...
So they're very rare, are they?
You can still get them,
yeah,
but they're not made anymore. So if you do find them, they'll cost from £4 each upwards. Mm-hmm. There are times when I've actually got £25 for one button. For one button, depending on how collectible it is. Yeah. We've got the military buttons and the uniform buttons. These are British Rail. Those 9 are off a long jacket, off a long coat from somebody who's working for British Rail. And we've got Lucite. Lucite was one of the first plastics that they invented in the 1950s, 60s. So it became popular with buttons because it was quite hard wearing. Then we've got the pressed glass again, which are very collectible. That particular one there is £25. So you can buy buttons from a few pence up to, I've seen enamelled ones go for 60, 70, £80 if you've got a full set.
So if you're doing a vintage outfit and you want it authentic, then you buy the buttons to go with it.
Yes. People who do reenactments, they want original.
The real buttons.
They want the real buttons to go back on the garment. They want the real cottons to sew the items.
So your original interest, would you say, from buttons came from when you saw a bag full and it said Cadbury's on the side?
No. Well, I originally bought kilos, a job lot from eBay for my dressmaking class for me to personally use, but they were so fantastic that I ended up doing vintage fairs with them and selling them, and now it's just a habit. Oh, sorry, nice. I just buy kilos of buttons.
Kilos of buttons. So let's just talk for a minute about your decision to come into the shop. When you first came, why did you come to the shop? What did you think when you first came, and how has it developed since then?
I came over to I originally from St Helens. I came over to the Wirral to be with my partner, and I found the shop when I was mooching around looking for things to do. And I came into the shop and I thought, well, this is the place where I think I need to fit in. I realised you were offering spaces and shelf space. Then I thought, well, take the chance, because I think just doing vintage fairs or selling online isn't enough, because I am a business, it's all I do for a living, so I need to have all the elements of having a physical shop.
Space.
People need to come to a physical shop.
Yeah.
So it isn't the main part of my business, it's part of it. It's all
the base.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how do you find the business development side in the shop?
Well, unfortunately, I came into the business around the wrong time, really, because sort of I started the business advice, and then COVID came in and everything locked down. But having this base enabled the business to sort of keep flowing. So I'd still come to the shop, work on the internet, work on the stock. So it made that purpose of, even though everything was closed down, it still felt like my business was going. And we all supported one another within the shop. And we realised that we, as a small micro business, that you all need to help one another. That's how it works.
And how did you when you first came into the back and had your first hour, how did that affect you?
My head exploded,
yeah.
And I went, oh my God, what am I doing? And I don't know what I'm doing. And even now, 2-3 years down the line, I do have moments of going, I don't know what I'm doing, but I keep going.
Right.
Because...
And does it help with that we steer you in different directions? And
being in the shop has opened lots and lots of doors, because I've gone to chamber meetings, network meetings. I've become involved with Memory Lane fairs, which is...
So which ones of Memory Lane fairs do you do? Which events?
The events, I'm fully booked now for the rest of the year. So I do New Brighton. There's a new month.
Where's that one?
The floor at the pavilion.
Oh, the pavilion.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a new one coming up, which sounds great. That's going to start at Birkenhead Market.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be a good one too.
Yeah.
I find you need to support these new events.
To try out to see.
I'm always looking for new customers, even though I've got regular customers at the fairs that I do, because I do antique fairs and flea markets at Hume Hall, and I've got regular customers. I feel as though it's important to go and find new customers.
To find new customers, yeah.
And then that enables me to find new people to buy from as well.
Of course, yeah.
I can't just rely on selling, I've got to buy as well.
Yeah. And have you followed the business guidance that we've given you along the way?
Yes, I've tried to.
Yeah.
I've tried to. It's very important to listen. That's very important, because it gives you that stability in the early stages of knowing where to go next, and it's free to get that experience from all these other people.
Yeah, from everybody involved.
Yeah. We've all made mistakes, and you go, well, that's how they've done that. Well, I'll try.
So it helps.
Yeah.
Good. So you'd say you're borderline on success now?
I've got regular customers.
Yeah.
I've got regular customers, I've got people who come to the shop, I've got people who follow me when I do vintage fairs and online, I've got private groups online. So I feel after 3 years I have developed
a nice little business.
A business which suits me. I don't think I'm ever going to be a button millionaire. I don't know.
But it's nice because you can work by choice.
That's the great advantage. I can work when I want. If I want a Friday off, or I need to go and do something, or if I need a weekend free, I can go,
You can blank that.
I don't think I could ever go back to working for somebody else now.
Yeah, it gives you the freedom to do what you like. And
yes.
As long as you do the work, you can do it when you want to do it, which I always think is important.
Yes. Yes, it's important to be able... You've got to have some sort of dedication. I think the fact that I love collecting and love what I do helps a lot.
Yeah.
If I was doing something that I didn't like, I don't think it'd last.
Okay, well, we'll say thanks to Ruth again for giving us the benefit of her experience today, and if you feel as though you need any help, please call into the shop and we can sort it out for you. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.